The medical charity Doctors Without Borders, which ran the hospital, called this a war crime. The attack happened in the middle of the night and reduced the hospital in Kunduz to ruins. About 180 staff and patients were inside when the US Air Force launched an overhead assault that lasted for more than an hour. Some patients were burned to death in their beds.
The hospital was repeatedly hit, both the front and the rear, and extensively destroyed and damaged, even though we had provided all the coordinates and all the right information to all the armed parties in the conflict. So we want a clear explanation, because all the indication points to a grave breach of international humanitarian law and therefore a war crime.
In the days following the attack, the US military issued conflicting statements. At first it said it was protecting US forces under fire and the hospital was collateral damage. Then it said Afghan forces called for air support because there were fighters nearby. Eventually, it admitted US forces were responsible and said it was a mistake. 4 days after the attack, US President Barack Obama apologized to Doctors Without Borders and the Afghan president.
This morning from the Oval Office, President Obama spoke by telephone with Doctors Without Borders International President Dr. Joanne Liu to apologize and express his condolences for the MSF staff and patients who were killed and injured when a U.S. military airstrike mistakenly struck an MSF field hospital in Kunduz, Afghanistan over the weekend.
The U.S. government paid $6,000 each to families of the 42 people killed in the attack. But some say the payments are not enough to compensate for the loss of life.
I hope that the U.S. will do more. I hope that the U.S. will realize that this, as this report seems to indicate, that there were mistakes made and that there was error in judgment on behalf of not just one or two people, but maybe a host of people, as this report indicates.
Details on disciplinary action against the 16 U.S. military personnel involved in the tragedy are expected on Friday. Only then will the families of the dead and injured be able to judge whether justice has been done. Bhanu, Bhatnagar, Al Jazeera.